Hi everybody, what's up? I am Lady Stars and Fire. My real name is Michelle Espinosa. And this is, I'd say, part 1 of the weekly healing messages for September 17th through the 25th. And the reason I say part 1 is because if you watch the videos, normally I try to put spirit, astrology, and if I have runes all in one video. However, Spirit has instructed me, no. Basically, no. This is not meant to be together anymore, and that they are meant to be separated. And so I'm going to listen to what Spirit says, because I'm starting to realize more and more. Every time I don't listen to them, I'm shown why I should, basically. But the reason why is because I'm going to go over a lot of information that Spirit gave me for the week. And I'm also going to explain a little bit more about how it is that Spirit gives it to me, is what I'm being told. But before I do that, I want to show you my drum. This is my shamanic drum. I drew, well, I didn't, more or less, in a channeling with the Tree of Life and Gaia. This is what was drawn on my drum. And you can't really see too well, but there's little berries on it, which are made, because I'm showing it to you for a reason. But where it's being painted is because I'm painting it from Earth itself. I'm not buying paints. And I'm doing what I'm instructed to by Spirit. And this is pokeweed. And so basically, that's how it's getting its pretty berries and its purple heart. And it's because, like I said, Spirit is showing me to do it. And I love my drum. But I wanted to show you all because I posted a little bit about it before, and I wanted to bring it up and show it to you. Now, the reason I also showed you the drum is because a lot of times when I do the healing messages, I come back and I tell everybody that I'm asking Spirit for guidance and counsel to help move us forward in the most positive and healing ways throughout this upcoming week, the week that the video is for. Now, what I don't always go over, sometimes I do, is that usually I'm working prior to that all week, a week ahead with Spirit. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I did state that I am channeling the Tree of Life and its connection with Gaia and much bigger and deeper things. However, the reason I never come in really and do videos and emerge is because this is where I happen to be in my learning experience of my shamanic training, my spiritual training. And I'm being told to bring that out because, for one, there's so many people out there who are coming into their energy, coming into their power, coming into the oneness, coming into all of it, and you know they're frustrated. They have trouble. They're trying to get there, but you know they don't necessarily have control over their gift, so to speak, and their power yet. And I'm being reminded: don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're exactly where you need to be, and as long as you keep at it, you will get where you need to continue to be getting to, basically. The reason they say this is because sometimes it's not even that, it's you're not ready to be necessarily where you're trying to be. There's things that have to fall in place before you can actually, sometimes on your spiritual, levels, your intuition. It's like they say, we have our intuition. It's like we know, we get that bad feeling, maybe I shouldn't do this, and then something happened. And you're shown, I should have listened to myself. This is a lesson in teaching you to trust. To trust in that intuition. To trust in the knowing. To come and to know that you don't have to question or doubt the knowing, because you now are one with it. You now believe in it. That's how the channeling also starts. See, and the reason I'm explaining this is because for me personally, for my human self, I can't stay in a channel for incredibly long. I can channel really, really well. The thing is I can't go into a direct merge where we become one. for very long. And the reason I'm explaining this to you is because, like I said, they're telling me to, is in my case, it's my human self goes into a little bit of a panic. My human self, as I scoot over inside of myself and I let the tree of life in, I let Gaia in, I let whoever I'm merging with in, goes into a bit of a panic, and my heart starts beating so fast that my human self starts to panic if I'm healthy enough to handle it. Can I handle it? I'm getting hot. I'm overheated. And because of that, it causes me not to be able to keep the channel as long. This all has to do with learning to relax in the knowing. This all has to do with learning to surrender, learning to have faith and trust. And as I get better with that, I will be able to channel for longer. Not channel, but I will be able to merge for longer and actually bring videos to you while I'm in that merge. But I'm being told at the moment that it's important for me, for some people out there who see this video, to explain, you know, we all go through phases of our learning. And spirit that is with you, that is honestly a guide who is there to help you, who is loving and wanting to help you in the right direction, is never going to allow you to harm yourself. Now, you and your own ego and your own questions and your own doubts, that's another story. But spirit, just like they won't allow me to hold that channel that long, because they know inside of me I'm jumping around in a panic. So they put me back out and keep me at a semi-merge where I'm in a channel. So therefore, I still have some control and I'm not in that panic until I learn to trust more and surrender completely. Now, the reason I'm explaining this, like I said, I'm going to get into what the actual spiritual guidance is for this specific week. But I'm being told I need to share this information before I go into that guidance. And then I'll come back with another video on astrology and possibly even on the runes. See, and I posted a little bit about this. I've had a very eventful week with spirit because I am learning to surrender more. And I was in a deep merge with the Tree of Life and with Gaia herself, as well as just divine energy in general. I mean, on such actually a profound level. But it all started with something, and I've been posting over this week about it. And I'm being told to bring it out for those who don't read the post but would watch the video. As shamans go into their learning and whatnot, they go through things that are considered initiations. And one of the initiations that spirit gives us, that we don't necessarily seek out, but spirit gives us, is called a dismemberment. Now, I've been having dismemberments spiritually since I was, I don't know, like 12, 13, 14, somewhere in that area. And what a dismemberment is like if you're journeying or you've crossed over, astral planing, dreaming, where initiation happens, is spirit will, in that projection, will rip you apart. Basically, will rip you apart, burn you, destroy you, dismember you. And what it is they're ripping apart all of the unclean so that they can rebuild you clean again. And this has a lot to do with also how shamans, as they mature into their shaman self, are able to help do the healing that shamans bring. Now, like I said, I've had many dismemberments in my time, so I'm not really as panicked as I used to be when they happen. However, with all of that, what was going on last week, you know, with just, I mean, over this past month in general, I mean, with all of the storms and the energy and whatnot, and I've been coming closer to Gaia herself and getting in on that communication with that merge and that channel, as well as the Tree of Life, because I've stated from the beginning, the Tree of Life was my first teacher in my shamanic training. So it makes sense that that would be the one that I merge with the most. However, I was in a tense place myself, and I was like, okay, I'm just in a tense place in my own self, and I need to relax, and I need to let go, and I need to surrender, and I'm going to lay down and I'm going to take a nap. I had no intention for dismemberment to happen. When I laid down and trying to calm myself down, I told myself, in the way I was calming myself down, I told myself, I release myself from myself. It was my way of thinking, okay, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to surrender. I don't need to carry this stress, this worry of stuff going on. I'm just going to let it go. And so I sat there laying down and relaxing into my bed, and I was like, I release myself from myself. I release myself from myself. When the most profound thing ever happened to me. It wasn't just a dismemberment. It was a soul connection. It was a soul ignition. It was igniting me and see now, honey, basically. Because what happened wasn't just a surrender, but I can never pronounce it right. My higher self, my higher shaman self came to me in spirit, looked me in my eye, tapped me on my head, and I fell asleep. And as soon as I fell asleep, the dismemberment started. Except for it wasn't like any other dismemberment, because myself was dismembering me. My shaman self. And what it did is it pulled me apart, and it grabbed my kundalini. I can never pronounce that. It's the coiled one within you. And it grabbed it and pulled it out when my body fell away to dust. And it just started shaking the coiled one at me. And then it let go and it turned into a bird and flew away. It was shaking the very power of me to me. Basically, and I'm telling you this because you have that very same power in you. You have the divine in you. You have the tree of life. You have Gaia in you. And if you don't know what Gaia is Earth, Mother Earth herself. I'm going through this because I'm explaining to you what is being told to me. They're reminding me, when you first start to come into your path, my love, one of the most things that is sincerely, desperately important for you to understand and remind yourself again and again and again is everything you learned prior to starting to come online. Everything you learned before you started to awaken and enlighten and come into your gifts. Everything that you learned in this consciousness, now you must unlearn. And you must start to learn the true consciousness. Period. And they remind me, to remind you, the consciousness makes manifest. We all know this. We all know that we manifest what we believe. We manifest what we see, how we act. If you're surrounded by negative people, you cannot have a positive life. However, sometimes there's going to be some negativity around you. This doesn't mean that you can drop all the negativity. This means for you to rise above and be the higher in this situation and lead through that, as well as start to come into those higher vibrations. Basically, it means that we project what we see. But we don't just project what we see. We are what we see. We are the company we keep. If we want to manifest happier, we must believe in it. But we forget what we believe goes so far beyond our actual thinking. I mean, we have to actually work sometimes at this consciousness. We have to actually work sometimes at this thinking. And what I'm saying is best way of explaining it, like I said, I can't stay in the merge long. I mean, can't stay in a channel long enough to do the video because I panic. My heart and everything gets too hot, and I get just too hot. So that's why I take notes throughout the week about what I'm learning so that I can bring it to you until I can do that channel. However, what they're saying is you know how you want to believe positive. You want to believe that things are going to work out. You want to talk yourself through the manifestation of, like I tell myself every day to help make sure that I start the day off positively. I say, I say to myself, I am emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, and wealthy, healthy. And financially wealthy. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, and financially wealthy. Wealthy is not just riches. Riches are love. Riches are knowledge. Riches are enlightenment. Wealthy is not money. Wealthy and riches are soulfulness. So I'm not asking for money. I'm asking for wealthiness, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. And hey, I'm happy if you throw in some financial wealth there too. You know, and I ask this every day, and I tell myself this every day because I'm bringing the positive manifestation to me. However, what they're saying is, yes, that's the right idea. That's how you start to come into the proper consciousness. And you start to realize the consciousness within the consciousness. But you also have to realize, as soon as you had that doubt, you brought that to life. Even if you didn't physically say it. Even if, you know, if you just automatically doubted that something would go your way. Perfect example, I'm walking out to plug in my lights because my lights don't work in the studio. I have to plug them in through the house and then come out here. And I'm thinking to myself as I'm walking out there, I'm going to trip over this thing and it's going to get caught. And voila, it tripped and I got caught. I made it happen prior to it happening. And this is why that happened. Because they're reminding us that we doubt, we fear, we question things that we've got to learn to stop doing. Because it's cutting off our own manifestation. And that's keeping us in a consciousness that we don't necessarily want to be in. In order to realize, as we move up in our consciousness, we first have to realize consciousness, yes, does make manifest. However, do not forget, consciousness is only a consciousness within the consciousness. Okay? I'll let you sit on that one for a while. But the reason I'm explaining that is because I'm also going to show you my shamanic map, which is also a form of a tree of life. And this is one that I've created, I've made. But I'm hoping maybe this will help you understand. If you hold on to the lid right here, the top piece, which is just a ribbon, and you look at it from all the way around, it just looks like a bunch of rags. However, there's a map here, which speaks to us of our consciousness. It speaks to us of the realms within our consciousness, and the cycles upon cycles upon cycles. Okay? Because when we first see it, we see the white. And when we lift it up from above everything else, we know that this white would be the divinity. This would be where all the magic is, where all the consciousness is, where the clarity is, where the perfection of understanding the consciousness is. But we're never going to stay here because we're going to phase in and out. We're humans. This is what happens. But this is the goal of getting up to that consciousness, up to that divinity, up to that understanding, that awareness. Where we typically are somewhere within these two. This would be considered on the shamanic realm, the middle world. And the middle world would be earthly like. It has animals on it, because it has butterflies on it. It also has sequins in it and whatnot, which means there are moments that we shine. There are moments that are beautiful. There are moments we connect with earth. There are moments we connect with spirit. There is fringe. The fringe speaks to us of the different realms within our consciousness, within the middle world, which is our earthly plane. Within this consciousness, And when we lift up above that, this would come into the idea of where the ego would be. Trying to find this. And see, this is what most people don't understand. Ego would be the lower world, but it's not the lower world. It's just a darkened place that a lot of people want to think of. But it also relates to ego. See, it's not all bad because every single color is in it. White is in it. Gold is in it. Yellow is in it. Pink is in it. Fuchsia is in it. Blue, brown, black. This stands for all of our questions, our fears, our doubts, and all of the realms that we have within them. Okay? So we have moments of pure love and light, even though we have ego inclined, even though it's the underworld, it's what we don't understand within ourselves. And it has a little bit of every element in it, a little bit of everything in it, a little bit of every direction in it, and everything that we will never understand. And it's many questions that can keep us in confusion forever. As we move up and out of our egoish parts and up the tree of life, we come closer to the trunk. We come closer to this understanding of where these two combine until we eventually come up. However, it flips over. It is a never-ending cycle. Once something ends, something new must begin. And even though there are conscious levels, there are always realms within those conscious levels. So it's a never-ending. The consciousness makes manifest. However, never forget, the consciousness is only an extension of the consciousness. So we must first learn how to turn off when we doubt ourselves, when we create manifestation that is not positive for us, so we can start to come into a higher level of the consciousness and create with the power that is us. See, because I am very strongly connected to lightning as well, and I'm shown that when lightning enters us, that's the power. That would be the divinity. That would be the very divinity that seeps through the sequins, that seeps through the white light of every part of who we are. It is there. It's already part of us. The ignition is the lightning. How can your soul be on fire unless you allow the divine spark to touch you and set you on fire? Then you enter the consciousness. And as you enter it, you start moving up. Okay, with that being explained, because that's the best that I can give you, is that we have to learn to relearn and consciously always be open-minded, trusting, and willing to learn more as we shed what does not serve us. It's that simple. Now, for this week itself, though, I am being told from 9/17 to 9/25. First, remember, we have a new moon this week. New moons do speak to us of new beginnings, and it will be taking place in Virgo. I will go over this better in the astrology video. And we also have the equinox coming up, the fall equinox, for if you're over here on this side of the country, or world. And the equinox speaks to us of balance, of yin and yang, light and dark, death, rebirth, all of that. So all of these things are going to surface this week, and I'm reminding you but I'm going to go into it over the astrology more, so come back for the astrology reading. I will tell you what I'm being given for this week specifically to help you move forward in the most positive ways throughout this week as we go through the new moon and the equinox and the planets that are moving this week, to help us understand. But I'm going to start off with, first off, in a shamanic journey, right before I came out here. Shamanic journeys, I do not explain to you what that means. This is up to you to understand what it means, unless I'm being told there's a specific part to point out, because it might mean something different for you. However, what I am seeing is a great grand stag. I mean, large antlers. Because I've been seeing the antlers all week, but finally I saw the whole thing. And right before I came out here, I had a meditation, and I went into a journey, and I was shown it. And the stag is running, and it's running quickly. But I wouldn't say forcefully, not like it's running from anything, but it's running through the forest, when all of a sudden the stag changes its course. It changes its path, and it runs directly through me. I'll leave that up to you to decide what that means. And as I'm saying this, I have a spirit that's blinking blue light, like a blue aura at me, as well as in the center of it is like a silverish white. So, and then obviously it was meant to be shown to you while I was speaking about the stag. So, again, the stag is running, and all of a sudden it changes its course, and it comes directly through me and runs through me. Now, the thing that really caught my attention as it was running through me, or before it ran through me, is, and this part I feel like I am supposed to point out, is its nostrils. This to me says it's intuitiveness. It's talking to you about your senses in general as well. But outside of that, I'm going to let you see where that takes you. Now, for a medium, I am being shown to give to you that the spirit animal that would best represent this week would be the crab. And the crab speaks to us of putting on our warrior boots. It speaks to us of, crabs are like armor. I mean, they have like their own armor, like a knight in shining armor. So that speaks to us of protection, as well as shielding, as well as trusting within that protection and that shielding. But crabs speak to us of balance, balancing our emotions and our darkness, as well as our freedom. It speaks to us of camouflage. It speaks to us of comfort and trusting within the movement of our life and where we're going. The crab also says to us, relax. Just like I said with Spirit. Spirit was trying to tell me, you know, I'll be able to handle a full-on long merge where I let us become one when I relax, when I surrender, when I stop stressing, and inside cause myself enough reason to where they don't want to have to put me through that. Relax and allow, this is what crab is telling us now, relax and allow the flow to flow, period. Trust in it. But to understand, crab also speaks to us that we don't necessarily always come at doing things from the direct approach. Sometimes we need new directions, new methods, and we need to remember to be flexible. I'm also being given the vibration of the number 9 this week. And the number 9 has actually many different vibrational meanings. But the ones that I'm feeling are pointed to be pointed out this week is 9 also reminds us of being a divine symbol of completeness. Remember, you have the equinox also taking place this week. It speaks to us of conveying the very meaning of finality, the end of something. It is finished. It is done. It also speaks to us of universal law. It speaks to us of karma. It speaks to us of our inner wisdom and of our enlightenment, as well as being a light worker, and light worker, get to work and start doing your job. I am also being given the eye, like the, I'm just seeing an eye in general, which speaks to us of our intuitive eye, speaks to us of our third eye, of the eye of the soul, and of prophecy and intuition itself. And lastly, I am being told lavender. Maybe you want lavender oil this week. Maybe you want, I wear lavender oil often behind my ears to keep me relaxed and calm. Or when I'm trying to go to sleep. Lavender speaks to us of, it reminds us also, which comes to that whole tree of life and Mother Gaia and Mother Earth. Lavender also exudes the essence of the Divine Mother herself. Basically, she speaks to us, lavender, of purity, of silence, of devotion, of caution, of protection, serenity, grace, calmness, peace, sleep, vision, clarity, and love. She speaks to us of the energies of the Divine Mother as well. I wish you so much love. Check back for the astrology. Hugs and kisses in the wind. And I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye, everybody.